great. So, welcome to our new podcast episode, Language Enthusiasts. If you are new to our channel is all about building a global community of English learners where everyone is welcome. We invite English learners from all over the world with different mother tongues, for example, Hindi, Bengali, German, Russian, French, Spanish, and many, many more. And the people who come to our podcast share and learn their unique language journeys. And we strongly believe in inclusion, mutual support, and encouragement. If that sounds appealing to you, we'd love to welcome you to our community. So please go ahead and hit the subscribe button below the video to start your English journey with us. And in today's episode, we have an awesome guest for you. It's actually Manish from India, whose native language is Hindi. And Manish and I are going to talk about his personal language journey of learning English, his incentives for wanting to improve his accent, his practice strategies and challenges that he faced and is still facing. And you're going to learn a lot in this episode. So let's dive right into it. So Manish, I'm glad that you're
Hello.
here.
Yeah, hello, Claudia. Thanks for inviting me.
Can you?
I'm so glad to have you. Yeah.
Can you
Thanks
tell?
for having me here.
Yeah, very happy. Can you tell our viewers something about your language background? What is your mother tongue? When did you start learning English in school? And just what was missing in the way the school taught English?
Well, then there's another question. So, my name is Manish. I'm from India, and my mother tongue is Hindi, which I've been speaking since my childhood. But I also speak a little bit Marathi and Gujarati, which I work with a lot of my clients. So I started learning English language in school, maybe around first or second class, when I started understanding the meaningful English or my Hindi language. But the focus was really more on reading and writing than speaking for me, because we were the friends. We we were close to speaking our Hindi language, which is our mother tongue. But the main gap was the lack of speaking practice in my school and my childhood. So that was a time we couldn't really speak more and we couldn't practice in the school in the childhood. But and we were never encouraged to speak in English language at school with our friends. Yes, our teacher used to tell us, well, start speaking in the English language, but we were not. So I developed a good understanding of grammar and writing, but not fluency. So I've always wanted to speak English fluently, like native speakers speak. Lack of surrounding people. First of all, I'm a shy guy. I always shy. But one day I realized that all of the friends, all of my clients and architects, they speak the English language while meeting with each other. Then I started studying with them. Then why can't I learn the English language? Then I jumped on a class which was in Mumbai. I did a course for that was for 4 to 5 months. So I started learning regaining my knowledge of the English, which I left in my childhood when I left to study my school. And then I did a course in Mumbai, which was for 4 months. And then again, during that course, that was really so impressive for me, and that encouraged me and motivated me to learn more. Then I watched a lot of videos on the YouTube channel, then it really triggered me. So I started learning the American accent, which is really one of my most favorite accents.
Yeah, I
So
can
that
tell.
really triggered me. Yeah, that really triggered me, and I really focused towards the American accent, like you do. So you also speak well. I really appreciate the tonality, the rhythm you speak. That's really good. I totally appreciate you.
Thanks.
I
I'll
work as a
compliment back to you. So
yeah.
Manish,
I
actually,
work.
I think I told him he sounds great, and I think he believes in himself, and I want you to believe in yourself too, because put in the work, and if you put in the work, you can accomplish your dream, and you should never let anyone tell you that you can't do it. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes. Yeah, we're 100%. That is called self-motivation. If we give self-motivation, we will get where we want to be. That is a great idea.
Awesome work. Can I ask you,
Yeah.
what was your main incentive if you look back? what was the reason why exactly you wanted to sound American or wanted to speak like a native speaker? Was it like professional that you needed it, or was it deep inside you that was like a personal like craving, so to speak, that you just wanted for yourself?
Well, yeah. First of all, looking at my role, I work as a project manager in an interior fit outs company and with a strong communication, especially with international clients. It's very important for me. I also enjoy connecting with people from other countries. So I realized that one day I had spoken with one of my clients and he was speaking in native accent. Like I think he was from he's an Indian client, but he lives in the United States. And I realized that if he Indian can speak in the American accent, I can also. Then
Yeah.
I started finding the channels on the YouTube channel, and I found a couple of ways, and I started practicing and within myself. Then then gradually, little by little, day by day, that pulled me towards the accent. That it took me a couple of months, or I would say 1 or 2 years to get the accent. And I really, I really feel good now that I can really understand all the native speakers and I can also talk with them. And they also really understand well.
So you would say if you put in the work, you can reach your aim.
Yeah.
It's all about consistency and putting in the
Yes.
work.
Yes. I've got, I have to work with the clients who really speak in like some of the clients speak in native accent. I mean, a couple of the clients stay in the United States but they're speaking the native accent. So sometimes I wouldn't really understand what they had spoken. And I realized I also should learn the American accent. That was the reason. And I also love the American accent in general.
Okay, that's very interesting. Can I ask you, because I was thinking about that, you said you put in a lot of time. We both did. It's a lot of time. It's hard work, nothing else. Can I ask you,
Yes.
when did you start noticing your first improvements, like in your fluency, in the accent? When did you start noticing that for yourself? Because sometimes it's difficult for us to notice it ourselves. Sometimes it's other people who tell us, "Oh, you sound good, you sound great, etc." And we don't notice it. But when would you say, when did you start notice it yourself? The first time, your improvements.
So, well, I started practicing with native accent a couple of years ago. And then I practiced a lot. I I mimicked with all of the videos, all of the American videos. And then I really practiced with them with like the letter. So it took me 5 to 6 months to notice a subtle difference in my speaking way. My accent is also totally Indian accent, but now my accent really has got changed, and now I'm really used to speaking the native accent. If I switch my accent into my Indian accent, that is it's really quite difficult for me to speak in my
Oh,
Indian
wow.
accent. I'm really used to speaking in American accent. And it took me a couple of months to practice with, and I started noticing. And I knew that I'm practicing, but my couple of my friends and my colleagues and my clients started telling me, "You have got the native accent. How did you get that?" Then
That's
I
great.
then I felt that really worked out.
Yeah, that's great. When you hear these compliments, it's worth it, it's your effort,
Mm,
and it actually pays off. It's
exactly. The hard work pays off.
always. And what are about your practice strategies? Because what would you say, which practice strategies did you use at the beginning of your journey when you start using the accent or practicing it? And how are you practicing now? So maybe you can show the difference. So how was it in the beginning and how is it now your practice?
Well, in the beginning, I used to practice with YouTube videos. Then, I did a course from the United States and I really downloaded a couple of the files in my mobile phone. Repetition is the mother of all of the skills. So repetition is a skill. So I repeated a couple of times in every single day. I never missed even even an hour. Whenever I used to drive, I walk on the streets, I work in my home, household chores. I always practice. I never lost a single minute in my home when I was free. So it took me a lot of hard work, and I got really busy and I got really engaged in the towards the American accent, and I surrounded myself with US FM radio and all of the YouTube channels. I was surrounding myself with American environment, so that really helped me in tremendous ways. I think that was the best way to live. I feel like I live in American accent. I mean, I live in United States because I created the environment for me. I
Ah,
should not feel I yeah, I should not feel I mean in my native way. So that is the best way to surround yourself with um, all of the music, all of I would say music and YouTube channel, all the broadcast, whatever you feel like. Please keep surrounded yourself. That is the
okay.
best way, because then your mind also starts thinking in English language. That's the best way, I would say.
So it's that I agree totally. It's this immersion. So you got to keep yourself or surrounded, especially if you're not living in the US, especially if you're not
Yes,
living, because people
exactly.
outside your home, they speak in this accent that we want to try to avoid. So in your case, the Hindi accent, in my case, the German accent, and we gotta try to avoid that because we don't want to sound like them. I'm just being honest here, and this is why we gotta listen to 24/7 to like American media, whatever. So like Champa said, is this creating this English bubble? So you would agree with that, like the bubble, so to speak, and keep yourself immersed in it.
So, well, Claudia, I want to ask you, could you tell me a bit about your background and your studying in Germany? How did you learn the English language, and what motivated you towards your American accent?
Yeah, actually, our stories are pretty similar because in my case, I also learned English in school. So starting in primary school, then through secondary school, and later on. But the same as you, it was only listening, writing, reading. So these skills that are passive, but not speaking at all. So coming out of school, the same, you can understand English, everything, but you can't speak. And I can't tell exactly when it was with me the case, maybe like 5 years ago, that I felt very
Okay.
uncomfortable. Yeah, when
Okay.
speaking, because I sounded very German. I could hear it in my head, and I thought it sounds so shitty when I speak English, you know? I felt it myself. And this is why
Okay.
I thought, yeah, then I went to the US. I did like a short stay abroad there for 3 months. And then I
Hmm.
loved this accent.
Hmm.
This was the only time when I went to the US. And I thought I want to sound like
Okay.
them. So, because a lot of
Okay.
German, like in your case, like in Hindi, a lot of German and Hindi speaker, they just sound German or Hindi, but a very, very few sound native or American like. And that's my incentive. And still keep working hard on it. It's a hard, long journey. Yeah.
Well, nice. So, what inspired you to learn the English language?
Oh, that's a good question. Actually, yeah, it was in school, like the first incentive. But then I continued studying American and British studies. And of course, for that, you need very good English skills. But I wasn't so good in English as I thought I was. I noticed that during the studies. So I thought either you're going to quit the studies or you're going to try to beef up your English, improve it a lot. So I was kind of forced. So because I wanted to continue with the studies and everything. And that was, but it was also personal because I love the
Yeah.
language, the way it sounds, you know. It's it's just either you love it or you don't love it. So
Yes. So, and what do you enjoy most about connecting with international learners?
can you say it again? What I enjoy most, like
Okay. Yeah. What do you enjoy most about connecting with international learners?
Ah, that's a
like
great
me?
question. That's a great question. Yeah, I think we connect very well because we have the same aim, we have the same passion, and we can learn from each other.
Yes,
You know, you can tell me how
yes,
you achieve
yes.
your aim, I can tell you, and then we can just take whatever suits us and what we maybe miss or what the other person already has. It's all about connecting, and it's also about accepting because we can only learn from each other. If everybody does it him or herself, we won't be as strong as like doing it together. Yeah.
Oh, well, nice, nice. So you had to put out a lot of hard work,
Yeah, it's always
really,
hard work, but
and
you know
it's
your
paid
job.
off. It's paid off. It's totally paid off to you because you sound like native speakers. I really
Well, not
appreciate
yet,
the
not
way you
yet.
sound.
Nah, thanks, but I know I still need to. I need to practice more. But thanks, I appreciate it
Yes.
very much. Yeah.
But
So
yo, really, I have a couple of friends from Germany that don't even speak like you sound. You are better than them.
yeah, that I believe that, but it's still I still need to get better. So, but I think
Yes,
it's great. We should never be satisfied with our level. We would should always try
exactly.
to.
Yeah, fine, really, because the learning never ends.
Yeah, totally.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
thanks for the questions. I wanted to ask you another question with regards to your practice strategies, like from your current perspective, the way that you are now and with everything you have achieved, with your fluency, your accent, what would you say from this purpose perspective? What were the most helpful practice strategies that helped you the most? And what were the practice strategies that you said that were just a waste of time that learners should avoid? From your perspective now?
Well, that's a nice and tough question. See, as an Indian, I would say, uh, don't sit on the table to learn any language. Enjoy with the learning process and uh, turn on the radios and all the podcasts surrounded by yourself. And if you sit on the table, then your mind will get to know that you have to only sit on the table to learn the English language. No, that is totally, I don't say that is true. Yes, you should speak English language surrounded by the people, and you should be thinking all of the objects in your home and when you do the job. You should be thinking in the English language. When your mind starts thinking in the English language, then it becomes your habit. It nurtures your mind because your mind is the only way who can think in English language, and it will take you the way you want to go. And I would say Mm. Don't try to learn. Never try to learn the English language. The way, as a Hindi, as an Indian, we never try to learn the Hindi language, but we started speaking. You know, everyone has a layer of fear. We cannot really speak the English language without hesitation. Why? Because we aren't used to speak the English language because we are taught the Hindi language. But we have to remove the layers of fear and shyness by speaking as much as we speak in native in English language, whatever the accent you like. But you have to keep step ahead. Never shy, make mistakes. I would say make mistakes. No, if you make mistakes now, then you will lose the mistakes right now. You won't be carrying all the mistakes for the future. If you want to carry the mistakes for the future, then don't speak. And if you want to speak with fluency, because the fluency and the confidence is surrounded by all of the barriers, shyness, toughness, fear, you know, uh, some of the students feel exasperated while speaking and they get really tired while speaking because they have never spoken with anyone. So it pressures them. So start speaking right now, even though you make mistakes. I would say make mistakes because
Great.
the
Mhm.
confidence and the fluency are surrounded by the mistakes.
Oh,
So throw the mistakes by speaking every single day, even though it's 5 minutes. for 10 minutes, whatever you like, whatever you have the free time, but start speaking right now. That's the best
Awesome.
strategy for me. And and if you want to understand, I mean, if you want to understand a native accent, then start playing, I mean, music or any podcast, FM radio, keep surrounding yourself.
That's awesome
Yeah.
tips. So awesome. Very helpful. Can I talk with you about challenges? Because you didn't get to the point that you are now without facing challenges. I would like to ask you if you look back on your language journey, on how the way you acquired your accent and your speaking fluency, what would you say, what were the most challenging experiences that you encountered while improving your accent and your spoken English?
Well, first of all, I would say I had no one to speak as a speaking partner. I was
Yeah.
the alone, you know. I had one my friend who was Manish, Manish and I. We were
What
both friends. Yes, we were
was
speaking
Manish?
together. Yeah, we were speaking together with him because uh, the friends, the colleagues where I work, the people were real easy to speak our Hindi language. they it just is okay. हम लोग हिंदी बोल सकते हैं, no issues. हम लोग English बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है. So I'm speaking in my native Hindi language because the people who will
Yeah.
watch your YouTube videos, they will understand I'm from India. So then I started that. That was the toughest uh, time for me. I learned the English language, but there was no use to speak. There was no any practice for a single day. That was
Oh,
really the toughest question. I mean, toughest way. Then I started thinking, Manish, no one has the time for you to speak with you. Start speaking with yourself. And the best way I would say to people, start recording yourself. If you record yourself to the camera, then start watching your own video. Then you will be able to derive the mistake, what have you made in the video while recording.
oh.
That is the best way to be confident. I was the guy used to shy while speaking in any language. I never wanted to speak the English language. But
Agree.
one day I realized if I start recording, then my shyness will go. My shyness will get disappeared. And that happened. So record yourself, speak yourself, and surround yourself by English environment. It could be any, whatever you want. The music, start music. At least you surround yourself and start speaking right now, make mistakes, and speak with yourself. And the best, which is a top recommendation for me, record yourself. Video recording could be for 5 minutes first day, and the second day 6 minutes, the next day 7, 8. Gradually, you will start enjoying your process, your own recording. You will really enjoy. I use now speak the way I'm speaking right now because the video recording for me who made me quite confident.
Yeah, I can tell. And would you say it's important to do that every day? So the consistency is important?
Well, it depends on the individuals. If any person wants to speak very fast in just a couple of few months, then he has to practice
Yeah.
way more. If anyone has, nowadays the people are really busy themselves in their project and business and job. It
Yeah.
depends on their choice and their priority. If the job is priority, then they have to divide their time for at least for half an hour in a day. The best time to practice in the morning because your mouth and your mind get set for the entire day. If you start speaking in the morning, then your mind will be thinking whole day,
Yeah.
which I did, and your mind will be supporting throughout day, thinking English, speaking English, and you will love to speak with the people surrounded you in the English language. Uh, you will love that if you speak and if you practice in the morning, because those are the strategies what I followed.
Yeah, and I can tell it
Yeah.
worked. So yesterday, Manish and I talked about how difficult it is to erase your native language accent, the accent of your native language if you're an adult, because it's much easier if you're a child, and it gets more difficult when you become an adult. But it's still possible. I mean, it shows. Can you tell me, with regards to that, being an adult, which challenges did you face when it comes to minimizing or getting rid of the Hindi influences? Yeah, maybe talk about that, because I think it's interesting, because I wouldn't buy into the idea that it's impossible, because there are a lot of adults who are able to get a native accent, even though they're not children. So I would be really interested in that. So you can tell our viewers and motivate them, because you were able to be successful.
Yeah, people know, people have a lot of vocabulary, a lot of meaning. I mean, people know they know the English well, but they cannot really speak a single word from their mouth. They cannot really utter a single word from their mouth because of lack of practice.
Yeah.
Because if we fear of judgment while speaking with ourselves, you know, that is real, or that really brings you back. So keep moving forward every single day, day by day, little by little. Start by little by little. Then you will see a remarkable change in your shift in just a couple of days or weeks. You will see a difference in your speaking, that I'm sure, because those strategies I followed, I'm telling you, I started practicing in the morning, and whenever I had little time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I used to turn I used to see my phone and books, the meaningful vocabulary and the meanings and idioms, whatever I used to like. I always practice every single day. I
Ah,
never missed a single day for a couple of months.
couple of months.
Because since we are surrounded by our native language, and the people are around us are all of the native language, but I only want to speak the English language, then I have to be different from the others. I have to think I'm only the English speaker. If I start thinking this way, then that is the first step. I have to speak all the English language. Even though the person is speaking in my native language, I have to switch my habit in speaking English language. That's the best way. And
Okay.
daily practice speaking is a supportive, and if you have a group who are, I mean, group of a lot of people, a couple of people who really more passionate like you, then get engaged in that group. You know,
Yeah, that's
at the
true.
beginning you will at the beginning you will feel a little bit of shyness, a little bit of fear, but that will remain only for 4 to 5 days or last one week. After a week, you will feel confident yourself, and you will start speaking within yourself only in the English language, and you will start buying newspaper yourself, and you will be enjoying the process really. If you start speaking, then you will feel and you will enjoy yourself. You will enjoy your company.
Okay, great things that you tackled. Actually, so this was mainly about improving speaking fluency. But what about the accent, though? Because I feel it's much more difficult to erase the
Yeah,
accent as an adult than improving speaking fluency. Speaking fluency is not a cake, but it's pretty easy, I want to say. But the accent, because it's so ingrained in our system, we heard it from birth and everything. So, what would you say? What were the challenges with regards to that, and how did you tackle
well,
them? Yeah, that's a big
well,
issue. I know.
that is the toughest question of this call. Well, you know, when we were in the quarantine in 2020 in COVID time, I started watching the videos from the United States because I love the English language from my childhood. I watched a couple of videos which was from the United States, and I even couldn't understand a single word what they were
Wow.
speaking. Then I realized, if they are the people, they are human beings like us. If they can speak in their accent, I can also too. Then I started practice for a couple of days, 6 to 7 days, I guess, if I remember, only for a week. Then I notice a subtle difference in my speaking, in my mind. Then I realized, Manish, it can happen easily, but it will take a little time.
Yeah.
Then I always, I always watched uh, native videos, movies, whichever I like. Then, you know, a lot of courses on the internet right now. You can join whatever you like. But the major thing is that the most important thing is that you have to think, you have to build your strong mindset that you got to learn the native accent. That's the first step that you got to learn the native accent and start thinking and start practicing with the video and practice video and ongoing video. Slow down the speed of the video in halfway or 7.5, whatever you like, the speed of the YouTube channel, YouTube video, whatever the YouTube channel you like, just turn on and lower down the speed of any video and then start practicing with that video. Like suppose I'm speaking right now. I used to speak, give me 1 glass water. I'm as an Indian, we speak 1 glass water. Then I practiced for a couple of weeks and a couple of months with a video with a similar time, like a letter. If we have to go on the top, we have to go uh, up by ladder, we have to keep a step on the ladder. Same way, we have to align our mind and body with this process with the uh with the people who really speak the native accent. We have to copy them. We have mimicking with them. The same way, same rhythm, same speed. You know, at the beginning, you will feel, my gosh, I cannot learn the native accent.
Yeah.
At the beginning, you
Overwhelming.
will really feel, but uh, it'll take time. It cannot happen this couple of weeks or months. You have to be consistent. You have to be behind it. You have to behind. You know, I was the guy. If I lose the accent and any practice for a single day, I went away 3 to 4 days. If I lose a single day, I get backward for 3 to 4 days because you know it's like a spring. If you keep pulling the spring, that it will remain to you. If you lose the spring, that will go away,
Yeah. It's
far
habit.
away.
It's habit. It's all habit. Yeah.
So you have to be consistent as much as possible. Mm, I would say I was totally consistent. Uh, 18 to 20. I mean, you know, I would say at least 18 to 20 days in every month, and 10 to 12 hours in a day. I used to really consistent towards the accent, and that was the best way. And I started hearing or listening every day, even a single minute, even though I'm speaking with anyone. I used to plug my earphones and I started listening the podcast FM radio because I was surrounded myself with a native accent. If you surround yourself, then gradually you will start listening and you will start understanding because you know your comprehension skill will start knowing the accent because you have to comprise all the native accent whatever you want to learn. You know, it's really hard. It's really hard, but it will take time. Be patient. So wait because there's a use process because we have been taught in our native accent, which is which is on our mind and our body and mind all are set with a native accent. If we have to adopt a new accent from a different country, then you have to give the space to the native accent. You have to open the mind, you have to listen properly, and you have to feel that. First of all, feel that accent. Feel in your body, feel in your mind. It's about feeling and responding to yourself, to your body.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I
And
get that.
if, yeah.
Yeah, we're kind of running out of time, guys. So this is actually the first episode, but Manish and I will get on the next call, and please continue watching it because it will get more excited. We dive deeper into the journey of accent improvement and everything. So stay tuned and catch you soon. So
Well,